Welcome aboard, welcome to today's tour. Today we are in Boulder, Nevada. We are at the Boulder Municipal Airport, airport code KBVU. Today's tour has us flying northwest of Boulder City, and we are going to tour the Las Vegas Strip. That's right, the self-proclaimed entertainment capital of the world. We may make a small detour to the northeast to fly over the Hoover Dam. Originally known as the Boulder Dam, it played an important part of how Las Vegas came to be. Let's get the plane started, we'll get the cockpit set up, we'll take a look at today's flight plan, and we will be on our way. Let's fly. The plane is started, everything seems to be in order. Find a seat, buckle up, let's start today's tour. Flight plan today, as you can see, we have one waypoint, which is the Hoover Dam. From there we'll fly straight to Las Vegas, the McCarran Airport, which is just south of downtown and right next to what is known as the Las Vegas Strip. The airport here in Boulder has the airport code KBVU. It takes up about 530 acres and has 2 runways.
Kilo Bravo Victor Uniform Automated Weather Observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 258 at tree. Visibility 9er. Sky condition clear. Temperature 11 C dew point. 1 tree C altimeter 29er 2. Kilo Bravo Victor Uniform Traffic Dude 005 is taxiing to runway 27.
Let's make our way to the runway and we will be on our way shortly. If this is your first tour today, what I do is I find interesting places to fly to that have interesting stories, and we fly to them here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are back in the Cessna Grand Caravan, the 208B. Not sure why we have a bus in our way here while we taxi towards the runway. We are making our way here to the hold short line, and we should be ready for takeoff in just a few minutes.
Kilo Bravo Victor Uniform Traffic Dude 005 taking off runway 27 north departure.
Clear left, clear right. Let's get this plane in the air. Our takeoffs are usually pretty uneventful. If you've flown with me before, you'll know it's always the landings that are a bit of a gamble. See what I did right there? We are airborne. We are heading towards the Hoover Dam. The Hoover Dam is a concrete arch-style dam in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River. The dam is on the border of the states of Nevada and Arizona. It was constructed between 1931 and 1936. As I said, it was originally named the Boulder Dam, but in 1947, Congress passed a resolution naming it for President Herbert Hoover. The project was to build a multi-purpose dam. It would control flooding and irrigation, as well as supply hydroelectric power to the developing Southwest. The first step of the construction was to drill and blast into the canyon walls to create 4 diversion tunnels for the water while they constructed the dam. Once the water had been diverted, they could start the construction of the dam walls. The last piece of concrete block was poured and topped off at about 726 feet above the canyon floor in 1935. At its base, the dam is 660 feet thick. At the top of the dam, it's approximately 45 feet thick. The dam required 3.25 million cubic yards of concrete, and even more was used for the power plant and other facilities. As we head out over Lake Mead, we will get the plane turned around and head back towards Las Vegas. Quick look at the flight plan again. As you can see, we'll head over the bottom portion of Lake Mead here and head straight for the Las Vegas Strip, which is also right next to the airport, which is our final destination, the McCarran International Airport. The original modern-day occupants of the area were the Paiute Indian tribes, and they were here as early as 700 AD. The first notable non-native person in the area was Rafael Rivera. He was a trader scout who was part of an 1821 expedition led by Antonio Armijo, and they were attempting to open a trade route between New Mexico and Southern California. This route would become part of what was known as the Old Spanish Trail. In 1844, a report by John Fremont was used as a guide for settlers into the area. Rivera named the area. He called it Las Vegas, which means the meadow in Spanish, because the area had springs and green grass because of the water. And that's an important feature for an area that's surrounded by desert. The area changed hands from Mexico to the U.S. in 1848. And in 1855, Brigham Young sent a group of Mormons to Las Vegas, and they established a fort and a mission there. But shortly after that, the Mormons abandoned the fort, and in 1865, Octavius Gass was granted a commission to reoccupy the land, and he renamed it the Las Vegas Rancho. In 1905, Senator William Andrews Clark, in cooperation with his San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad, bought the El Vegas Rancho and its 2,000 acres from the owner at the time, Helen Stewart. Using her land and her water rights, they were able to set up a water station for the railroad. Of course, steam engines required water, and the Meadows was a perfect place to set up a railroad stop. At that point, the seeds were sown for what would become Las Vegas. The town was planned and developed to support that railroad there, and Las Vegas was incorporated in 1911. Because of the 24-hour nature of railroad operations supporting the railroad and the passengers, soon later, casinos, hotels, and saloons started to pop up. Originally, these saloons were supposed to be relegated to just one area known as Block 16, and this is where two of the earliest casinos were located, the Gem and the Arizona Club. Even during the time that Nevada made gambling illegal, gambling continued in Block 16. And that rebellious spirit carried on. During Prohibition, it was known that you could still get alcohol pretty easily in Block 16. In addition to the railroad, the construction of the Boulder Dam at the time, now the Hoover Dam, also helped the area grow. With the workers required, the population of the area soon grew from 5,000 to 25,000 people. In Boulder City, near the dam, was actually a town set up by the federal government to house the workers. The dam project also became a tourist attraction, which brought even more people to the area, and that's the beginning of Las Vegas becoming a tourist destination. Gambling was then legalized in 1931, and that helped the population growth, the tourist growth, and the casino growth. Bring on the slot machines. In the 1940s, Highway 91, a newly paved interstate, allowed weekend tourism from Southern California to the area. We are passing by McCarran Airport to our right. We will bank off to the right here, and we will fly what is known as the Las Vegas Strip. In the 1940s, Thomas Hull, who was the owner of the El Rancho hotel chain, decided to build a resort in Las Vegas. And after seeing the traffic on Interstate 91, he decided to build the resort there. And that area is what would become known as the Las Vegas Strip. And Interstate 91 would in time give way to the current Interstate 15. At some time later, the mobster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel attempted to buy the El Rancho Vegas. And when he was unsuccessful, he built his own resort. Using the backing of East Coast mob money, he built the Flamingo. The Flamingo Resort was the first to move away from what was always a Western theme with the casinos and resorts to date, and the Flamingo was all Hollywood glitz and glamour. Mobsters would go on in the area to help build other casino resorts like the Sahara, the Sands, and the Riviera. In the 1960s, actually 1966, aviation mogul, entrepreneur Howard Hughes moved into the area. And after living in the Desert Inn for some time, he was asked to leave, and he refused, so he just bought the entire hotel. Hughes then realized that buying hotels was a good way to invest his money to avoid taxes. He had recently sold his airline, TWA, and it was a good place to put his money. Around that time, the federal government was pressuring the mob-influenced casinos in the area, and he was able to purchase quite a few of the local casinos and resorts. Well, we are at the Strip, just north of the airport. I hope everyone brought some money for blackjack, craps, and the roulette table. This is Interstate 15 off to our left. Airport is off to our right. And we are going to make our way right down between these resorts. Coming up first on our left will be Mandalay Bay, and behind that, I believe, is the Luxor. The Luxor is the pyramid on our left, followed by Excalibur on our left. Across from the Excalibur is the Tropicana. That's the Excalibur there with the colorful peaks. On the right coming up is the MGM Grand. Across from that is the New York Hotel and Casino. On the left will be the Park MGM. Then the area, the Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. The Paris Las Vegas on the right. You can see the Eiffel Tower. On the left will be the Bellagio, followed by Caesar's Palace on the left. On the left now is the Mirage. Treasure Island on the left. On the right is the Wynn Resort. And after that, the other part of the Wynn Resort is Encore. Coming up here, you'll see the Strat Hotel, and that tall structure is the Stratosphere. At the top of the Stratosphere is Skypod. It's a restaurant and 360-degree viewing area. Which is 1,149 feet tall. Well, that is the Las Vegas Strip, visited by 39 million people a year, has 15,000 miles of neon tubing and over 150,000 hotel rooms. Now, to get the plane turned around, make our way back to the beginning of the strip where the airport is, and we will have the plane on the ground at the McCarran International Airport shortly. With Hughes buying multiple casinos, this brought about what was known as the corporate ownership era. It was the beginning of the end for sole proprietors of hotels and casinos. But with big corporate owners and big corporate money, the Strip started to see large name entertainment, big shows, big entertainers, and big productions. Enter the Rat Pack, Elvis, and Liberace, and many, many more. The 1980s saw a bit of a downturn in the Las Vegas area, maybe partly because of the economy of the 1970s, and a series of hotel fires might have also attributed to it, starting with the 1980 MGM Grand Hotel fire where 87 people died and over 700 were injured. The end of the 80s and the early 90s started what they call the mega resort era. Steve Wynn, a longtime casino developer, in 1989 opened the Mirage. It was the city's first mega resort. And over the next 2 decades, the Strip was transformed as the older original casinos were torn down. Well, actually, many of them were blown up in grand Vegas fashion to make way for new mega resorts that went in place.
130.05 contact route on 130.0.
Going to 130.0.005.
We are on the ground. Not my best landing, but by no means my worst landing. You all took a gamble flying with me today, and you're walking away a winner. Let's find a place to park the aircraft and take a look around the airport. Thanks for flying Dude Tours today. Make sure to check out videos below for other tours and future upcoming tours of hopefully interesting places. If you have an idea for an interesting place to fly to in Microsoft Flight Simulator, leave a comment below.